Okay, guys, I see many of you have joined. Can start. Can someone please confirm if my screen is visible?
Yes.
Okay, great. Right. So, guys, we were talking about the assessment. Do you guys have any questions, any doubts still here? If not, we'll proceed. So I was talking about that we get the recommendations from Azure based on size, etc. These are the recommendations which we get, which can obviously save some money or which can enhance performance at least. If we are decreasing the size of machines, we are saving the money. If we are enhancing the size, increasing the size of machines, we are uh, getting the better performance of for those applications, right? And it will not be for one server. Here we are taking example just for one servers, but there it will be for 200 servers based on whatever servers we have, we have assessed. Based on that assessment, we are going to get the assessment report and recommendations, right? We are going to see how it looks. Can we how do we use that recommendations? It will also show you the cost estimate. Now, what does it mean? It means it means that based on their recommendation, based on its recommendations, for example, you have done the 200 machines assessment. Out of 200 machines, it says five of them are not ready. They are not readiness. Maybe they are on 2003, right? 195 servers are ready to be moved. Out of these 195 servers, we have seen 50% servers, or we have seen 40%, or let's say 95 servers are being underutilized. 50 servers are okay, and 50 servers are being overutilized. So you should decrease the size on 95% servers. On 50 servers, you should keep as it is. Remaining servers, you should increase the size. Whatever the mix report which we have got, it's not only the report which we get. It's with that report, we also get the cost estimation that for this server, if you go with the exact size which you are using on on-prem, this is what you will be cost. This is what you will be paying for these 200 servers. You'll be paying $2,000. Numbers are just example. We'll see the exact numbers when we do our own practical, right? For if you are using our recommendations, you'll end up paying $1,500, where we are recommending you to increase some numbers and decrease some numbers. So this is what you get as a cost estimation also. Is this clear, guys? Is this point clear to everyone? What is the cost estimation? Yes, any doubts, any questions?
No
Okay,
question.
right. Now we can create groups of servers here. All these assessment outcome can be used while migrating. As of now, we have not started migrating, right? Migration हमने शुरू भी नहीं किया है. So one more point is we could create a group of these servers here. Why we can create the group? Maybe all these 200 servers, they do not belong to one application. They belong to multiple application, or maybe multiple departments, or multiple location. One of them is in Pune. Two of them is in Mumbai. Rest of them is in Aurangabad. Some are in Hyderabad, right? Wherever they are, based on their region, based on their application, based on then uh, environment, whether they are prod servers, test servers, whatever servers, you can group them and you can get the more details out of it. Okay? Now, how to use this assessment while migrating, that we are going to see practically. So this is what we do in our assessment, guys. Right? We as in we use a tool, and that tool helps us to do that. By the way, assessment can be done manually as well, but it is going to take a lot of time, and no one does that nowadays. Manually, as in you fetch out the utilization report, check how much RAM is being used for this computer, what is the CPU, what is the best suitable sizes available on Azure. इसका यूटिलाइजेशन का रिपोर्ट, इट्स नॉट ओनली अज्योर टूल जो है यही नहीं देता है. देयर आर मल्टीपल टूल्स ऑन प्रेम एज वेल जो आपको यूटिलाइजेशन का रिपोर्ट दे देंगे. सो वो सब मैन्युअली कैलकुलेट करके भी यू कैन कम अप विद अ रिपोर्ट, but obviously it will not be as sufficient or as quick as Azure's report, right? This is being run through a system, so this will help us a lot, right? Once that is done, then we go ahead towards the migration. Post the assessment, we can create a landing zone setup. Now, you will see many questions on landing zone. That have you ever worked on landing zone? Landing zone itself can be a huge topic, right? लैंडिंग जोन सेटअप के लिए अपने आप में पूरे इंजीनियर्स होते हैं, एक टीम होती है. So landing zone is a huge topic, but what is the core of landing zone? That is what we are trying to see here, right? A landing zone where we take care of Azure account, subscription, Azure Active Directory, which is nowadays Entra ID, your accesses, your resource group, your virtual network, your NSG, your VPN, your firewall, policies, monitoring, load balancer if that is required, everything using Azure Blueprint. So what is a landing zone setup? That you're bringing your machines from somewhere. That you're bringing your machines either from AWS, GCP, or on-prem. In this case, we're talking about on-prem. So before you land your machines to Azure, you should create all of these setup, which should be readily available. There are few things which are compulsory, then there are things which are optional. But combining all of this is what creates your landing zone, right? All the tasks which can be performed without virtual machine, we set up them first and then think of moving the virtual machine, right? It decreases the downtime window. Once migrated, then we do perform the testing, connectivity testing, and the DNS repoint, and then application is up. Let me elaborate this now. So there are two methods. First, I bring the machine without creating anything except for which are mandatory things. Example, can I bring a machine without having a VNet?
No.
Can I
No,
bring a machine without having a resource group?
No.
no,
No, right? So these are mandatory things. This is also called a landing zone setup. But apart from this, there are many things which are not mandatory, however, recommended, and we must do that. Why? It will save your downtime. For example, I'm bringing 10 machines. Now these 10 machines, on-prem, these 10 machines are in different VLAN. On-prem में concept होता है VLAN, which is as good as our VNet. So these 10 machines, 5 is in VLAN 1, 5 is in VLAN 2. These machines are talking to each other. वो configuration already on-prem पे हमने बना रखा है. When I'm bringing it to Azure, I'm bringing them 5 machine in VNet 1, another 5 machine in VNet 2. But the requirement is these two machines should talk to each other. Now, before I migrate these machines, if I don't do the VNet pairing, is there any hurdle just to migrate? Can I migrate the machines without doing the VNet pairing between these two VNets?
we can migrate.
Yes, we can migrate. कोई issue नहीं होगा. But is it functional? Are these machine functional? Let's say ये 5 machine जो है application server है, remaining 5 machine database है. इनमें कोई connectivity नहीं है. तो is my application up and
No,
running?
No.
No, machine तो migrate हो गए, but up and running नहीं है. So before you migrate those machines, what will you do? You will do the VNet pairing between these two VNets. उसमें एक एक डमी मशीन बनाकर आप चेक कर लोगे कि इज इट वर्किंग, कोई फायरवॉल का पोर्ट वगैरह. पोर्ट इज वन ऑफ द मेजर थिंग्स कि उस मशीन पे वहां पर कितने पोर्ट्स ओपन है, उस वीलैन पे वहां पर कितने पोर्ट्स ओपन है. यू डू द एग्जैक्ट सेम सेटिंग्स हियर, और डमी मशीन्स को आप लगाकर यहाँ पर चेक करोगे. और इफ पॉसिबल टेस्ट माइग्रेशन करके देखोगे. पॉसिबल नहीं, डेफिनेटली पॉसिबल है और करते ही है. टेस्ट माइग्रेशन करके देखोगे बिफोर यू डू द एक्चुअल माइग्रेशन. So to do that, you will have to do all these settings, right? इसमें आपको रिसोर्स ग्रुप डेफिनेटली बनाना पड़ेगा. नाउ उस मशीन का एप्लीकेशन ओनर था XYZ पर्सन. उसकी टीम में था एक टेक लीड, 4 विंडोज एडमिन, 2 डेवलपर एटसेट्रा. इस तरह से उनकी एक 20 लोगों की टीम थी. दे वर वर्किंग ऑन दैट सर्वर ऑन डेली बेसिस कि एप्लीकेशन में कोई इशू नहीं आ जाए. जो एंड यूजर्स यूज कर रहे हैं वो तो डिफरेंट है, ठीक है. वेबसाइट जो यूज करते हैं वो तो डिफरेंट लोग हैं. दोज गाइज आर जस्ट यूजिंग DNS नेम लाइक google.com और IP एड्रेस. इट्स दैट्स द ओनली थिंग दे हैव टू डू. बट इस सर्वर को हैंडल करने वाली भी एक टीम है. कंटिन्यूस डेवलपमेंट करते हैं, कंटिन्यूस प्रोग्रेस चेक करते हैं, सब कुछ करते हैं, राइट. सो दैट टीम हैड एक्सेस टू दैट सर्वर कि वो इजीली कंसोल पे जाकर उस सर्वर को एक्सेस कर सकते थे ऑन प्रीम पे. नाउ यू आर ब्रिंगिंग these servers to cloud, and what if something goes wrong immediately, right? How will these users get access to that machine? I'm not talking about the OS user ID and password, guys, ठीक है. एज एन उस यूजर को लाते ही मशीन का साइज चेंज करना है. आपने असेसमेंट वगैरह कुछ भी किया होगा, दैट्स डिफरेंट थिंग. बट सडनली ही वांट्स टू चेंज द मशीन का साइज. he want to shut down the machine, he want to turn off the machine, he wants to rename the machine, he wants to do something to this machine, राइट, विच मीन्स वो टेक लीड का उसकी टीम को भी एक्सेस चाहिए होगा मशीन का. सो इज इट अ बेटर आइडिया दैट यू मूव मशीन फर्स्ट और बाद में आर बैक वगैरह करते रहो, और इफ यू हैव ऑप्शन डू इट फर्स्ट, व्हाट वुड यू सेलेक्ट?
I would do it first if
यस,
we have the
ऑब्वियसली यू विल डू
option.
इट फर्स्ट. Right? इसको पहले ही आप करके रखोगे. Why? Because not all of the users will be available at the same day. जब आप माइग्रेशन करने वाले हो, उनकी टीम से कई लोग छुट्टी पे होंगे. If you start adding their IDs, you don't know it is working or not. तो ये काम आप काफी पहले शुरू कर देते हो, इनको ऐड करना. You as in understand one thing, you are not the superman of your infrastructure. You, one person is not going to do everything. टीम डिवाइड हो जाती है कि ठीक है, यू टेक केयर ऑफ वर्चुअल नेटवर्क. यहाँ पर 20 वर्चुअल नेटवर्क बनाने हैं, इनके बीच में पेयरिंग करनी है. सो वन पर्सन विल वर्क ऑन वर्चुअल नेटवर्क, वन पर्सन विल वर्क ऑन IAM के यार ये हमारे पास 100 यूजर का लिस्ट है, इनमें से 10 को ये रिसोर्स ग्रुप पे ऐड करना है, 10 को उस रिसोर्स ग्रुप पे ऐड करना है, 20 को यहाँ पर करना है, ये 10 को सब्सक्रिप्शन लेवल पे ये एक्सेस देना है, पूरा लिस्ट आ जाएगा. सम इंजीनियर विल वर्क ऑन दैट, समवन इज वर्किंग ऑन माइग्रेशन. सो यू डोंट हैव टू वरी कि मैं अकेला क्या क्या करूंगा और व्हाट विल आई डू आई अलोन, व्हाट ऑल थिंग्स कैन आई टेक केयर ऑफ. Getting it, guys? So you don't have to worry about it. But you as a team, yes, you have to do it. So you guys will have to make sure that you have added all the requested users, vagera, and you have sent them email. They check it, they confirm it. Now you can say, how will they confirm if machines are not there? Simply, you can create a dummy machine. टेस्ट मशीन बना के रख दो कि यहीं पर आपके बाकी सारे मशीन्स आने वाले हैं. सो इफ यू कैन एक्सेस दिस मशीन, इफ यू कैन रीसाइज दिस मशीन, इफ यू कैन शट डाउन दिस मशीन, you can shut down all the machines in this resource group. Right, so you will have to do that. NSG, that I do not want this machine to access internet, I want this machine to access internet. You'll do that. VPN connectivity if it is required, कि ये set of machines they are talking to my इनको मैंने एप्लीकेशन लेकर आ गया, डेटाबेस सर्वर्स तो लेकर आ गया, बट इनकी इंजन सर्वर्स जो है वो इसी पे काम करेंगे, ऑन प्रिम पे ही काम करेंगे. सो देयर हैज टू बी सम VPN कनेक्टिविटी बिटवीन दैट VNet एंड योर ऑन प्रिम. So that you will have to segregate first. Imagine आपने मशीन मूव कर ली एंड देन यू आर सेटिंग अप द VPN कनेक्टिविटी. अपने आप में वो 2-4 घंटे लग जाते हैं, और उसमें कोई अगर ब्रेक फिक्स हो जाए देन 4 more hours. तो आपने जो डाउन टाइम आपने 2 घंटे का लिया था माइग्रेशन के लिए, आपने उसको 8 hours कर दिया. फायरवॉल, राइट, वी हैव सीन फायरवॉल पॉलिसीज बनाने में कितना टाइम लगता है, मॉनिटरिंग सेटअप करने में. दो वी हैव नॉट कवर्ड मॉनिटरिंग येट, बट व्हेन वी डू विल सी कि मॉनिटरिंग कवर करने में टाइम लगता है. इट्स नॉट दैट कि आप इमीडिएटली मॉनिटरिंग ये कर लोगे. लोड बैलेंसर आपको बनाने हैं, यू विल हैव टू डू दैट इन एट द बिगिनिंग. बाद में बस जाके आप बैकएंड के इसको चेंज कर दो. आई होप यू गाइस रिमेंबर लोड बैलेंसर व्हिच वी हैव डन. फ्रंट एंड IP वगैरह सब लगा कर रख दो. राइट, सो ऑल दीज थिंग्स गाइस, दीज आर कॉल्ड लैंडिंग जोन सेटअप. Right, these are optional, but you will see all of them are doing it. Right, so all tasks which can be performed without the VM, we set up them first and then think of moving VMs. It decreases the downtime. So this is what I explained now. Once migrated, then we can do the performance testing. एक बार टेस्टिंग कर लो, कनेक्टिविटी टेस्टिंग के सारी कनेक्टिविटी है या नहीं, एंड देन द DNS repointing. DNS repointing का क्या मतलब है? आई होप यू नो द DNS by now. DNS is simply changing the IP addresses to the name. For example, in your phone directory, you have your friend James. Now, James has a number 9999. Right? Let's say 4-digit number 9999. James is changing his number. Right? James is changing his number to 8888. Now, you do not want everyone to know the number or dial the number. What you'll simply go do there, you'll go ahead, you'll go and edit James' name, 9999 को हटा के 8888 कर दो. So whoever, next time also when you try to call James, you won't have to remember the number. जो नंबर चेंज हुआ, you won't have to worry about it. कहीं पर आपने आपके किसी प्रोग्राम में लिख रखा है call James. So it should not look for number. It should look for James in your phone. Backend में नंबर क्या है, वो जेम्स के अगेंस्ट whatever the number is that will be dialed. Example, google.com. Now if Google is changing their IP, let's say Google is moving their server from one place to another, जिसमें उसका IP अगर चेंज हो जाता है, राइट, अगर IP एड्रेस चेंज होता है, सो यू शुड नॉट नो दैट. आपको उसकी कोई चिंता नहीं है. यू शुड नॉट बी वरी अबाउट इट कि यार गूगल का IP चेंज हो गया. यू वोंट इवन कम टू नो मे बी गूगल इज चेंजिंग देयर IP ऑन डेली बेसिस. Why? Because DNS is working behind that. You type google.com, it is DNS's job to convert that and get the correct IP and then give you the website. In our case, if you guys remember, मैं आप लोगों को IP address दे रहा था चेक करने के लिए to check my website. Now imagine that IP address I'm changing. So instead of IP address, I can give you one DNS name. Let me see if I have that server. I'll show it to you right away. Do you guys have the understanding on DNS, by the way? Anyone understand DNS? Anyone has worked on DNS?
Yes.
Munir, you have worked. Razak bhai, what about you?
I understand the DNS or concept of the DNS.
Right. ठीक है, हमको वैसे भी डिटेल कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं समझना है उसका. You are okay. I've deleted that machine, I guess. Let me see still. So DNS is nothing, but it's just a name, and you can repoint any IP address over there. So even if you're here, it is fine. So now, guys, look at this. This is my machine, and this is the IP address which I have been sharing with you guys, right? ये IP address है. Now, if I change the public IP of my machine, will you guys be able to access my website using the same IP address?
Oh.
No.
No. But
No.
what I want, that I will be changing the IP address every time, and I don't want to share it with you. बार बार मुझको वो नहीं करना कि मैं thousands of user को IP address भेजता बैठूं. So what I can do, I can create a DNS. It is not configured. I'm simply configuring the DNS. Look at this. This IP address के against DNS ये होगा. Now what will I tell you? My DNS name is Suhail Web Server. यहाँ पर mostly application का नाम आ जाता है. ठीक है, और I'll call it fine. Let it be. Just save it. Once it is done, let's refresh it. Now, this is the IP address which I have got, guys. I hope it works. I'm not sure. We will have to do a few more settings to that, but this is how it works. Normally, uh, I will have to check my DNS zones and etc. But this is how it works. You type the IP, you type the name, and background में वो आपको यहाँ पर ले जाता है. So now even if I change my public IP address, this will not be changed. You will always access my website using this link. तो background में मैं अपना public IP हमेशा change करता रह सकता हूँ. So that is what your repointing is. कि आपके DNS का आपने बाकी एप्लीकेशंस को जो है ना इस एप्लीकेशन का DNS का नाम दे रखा होगा. राइट. नाउ इफ योर आईपी इज चेंजिंग, यू डोंट हैव टू मेक एनी चेंजेस इन कोडिंग वगैरह, कुछ नहीं करना है. बस उस नाम के अगेंस्ट जो आईपी पहले 9999 था, अब इसको 8888 कर दो. रेस्ट ऑल एप्लीकेशंस वगैरह वो सब जो है दे विल कॉल जेम्स. बैकएंड में नंबर चेंज हो गया, यू डोंट हैव टू वरी अबाउट इट. सो दैट इज योर रीपॉइंटिंग ऑफ योर डीएनएस. यू डोंट हैव टू वरी मच अबाउट इट बिकॉज यू डोंट डू इट. ये अगेन ये सिस्टम एडमिन का काम होता है. यू वोंट हैव एक्सेस टू देयर डीएनएस सर्वर. Right, but you should know. You should know this step. You should be able to say this step. You should say this step in your interview. Is this clear, guys? Still here?
Yes.
Right. Now, landing zone setup. I told you there are many things. लैंडिंग जोन सेटअप में बहुत कुछ आ जाता है. यहाँ पे पावर शेल स्क्रिप्ट्स भी आएगी. वाई? बिकॉज लोड बैलेंसर आप बना के नहीं रखना चाहते हो. लोड बैलेंसर you will create at the last time, or maybe uh, you will create at the last moment. So you don't want to do that using Portal. You can use Azure DevOps for that, or you can use PowerShell, ARM template, scripts वगैरह बना के रखते हो. So landing zone setup में सब कुछ आ जाता है. You are preparing the infrastructure to bring the machines, but there are few mandatory things which you will have to do. Without that, you cannot move machine. One is your region that should be selected. कहाँ पर जा रहा है? Second, your subscription should be there. You cannot say I'm bringing my machines first, I'll buy the subscription later. Not possible. Third, your resource group. Your resource group should be there. You can't say, okay, first let's bring the machine, we'll decide the resource group later. Is that possible? No. We cannot have any resource without resource group. Replication storage account. This is very important. You have to create a replication storage account. Uh, Nowadays, I think it gets created automatically. They have improved it. But earlier, we had to create one replication storage account. Or there is only one condition of this replication storage account. It's simple storage account. जो storage account हमने बनाया है ना, exactly वैसे कोई अलग type नहीं होता. You simply have to call you just call it replication storage account. It is as good as your storage account. But only one thing you have to take care of is soft delete उसमें disable होना चाहिए. बिकॉज what does it do? ये जो ना टेम्परेरी डेटा लेता है आपके ऑन प्रेम से, टेम्परेरी डेटा उस स्टोरेज अकाउंट में रखता है, वहां से मशीन बनाता है, एंड देन इट डिलीट्स इट इमीडिएटली. सो यू शुड हैव वन स्टोरेज अकाउंट, and soft delete should be disabled on that. This is the must requirement of your landing zone setup or before you migrate anything. But nowadays this account gets created automatically. पहले हमको इसको मैन्युअली बनाना पड़ता था and then we had to select from the drop down replication storage account, select it from the drop down. कोई नहीं, आपको बस सेम रीजन में सेम रिसोर्स ग्रुप में एक रेप्लिकेशन अकाउंट बनाना है, सॉफ्ट डिलीट डिसेबल करना है, दैट्स इट. सो डोंट गेट कंफ्यूज. इट्स नॉट सच बिग थिंग कि व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय दिस. वही आपका जो होता है रेप्लिकेशन स्टोरेज अकाउंट होता है. यू हैव टू क्रिएट वन स्टोरेज अकाउंट. सॉफ्ट डिलीट शुड बी डिसेबल. किस कहाँ पर बनाओगे आप इस केस में? वेस्ट यूएस में बनाओगे, इस वाले रिसोर्स ग्रुप में बनाओ, यहाँ पर आकर आपको सेलेक्ट कर देना है इन योर लैंडिंग जोन. ओके, दैट्स इट. वर्चुअल नेटवर्क, ऑब्वियसली इट हैज टू बी देयर अ वर्चुअल नेटवर्क, क्योंकि you cannot create a machine without virtual network. A subnet has to be there. You cannot create a machine without subnet. And availability option, whether you want to go ahead with availability zone, जो आप 5 मशीन ला रहे हो उसको availability zone में करना है, availability set में करना है, or do you want any kind of availability option, or you don't want any redundancy, you can select this and you can start your migration. Is this point clear, guys, to everyone? This is your must landing zone. Apart from that, landing zone has vast variety. You can add anything and everything which you want before moving the machine. Policies, firewall, etc. Everything. Yes, guys. Any doubts? Any questions still here?
So here, Sohail, after setting up the landing zone, then whatever the data or the whatever the machines that will shift from on-prem to Azure, it will be dummy machines or it will be the original one directly from the on-prem.
No, we are not yet till migration. Don't worry. वो हम देखते हैं.
Um,
It's up to you.
okay.
If you do the test migration, there's no dummy machine actually. Understand one thing, guys.
Hmm.
Migration में, let me open a paint. Migration में you're not literally lifting that machine, though it is called lift and shift, but you're not literally lifting the same machine. If this is your hardware, this is your on-prem. This is your Azure Cloud. You have set up the connectivity, VPN, etc. Whatever you have done, based on that connectivity, you have set up some connection between these two. ठीक है, आपने कनेक्शन इस पे एस्टेब्लिश कर लिया है. नाउ दिस इज योर फिजिकल सर्वर. इसमें बहुत सारे वर्चुअल मशीन्स हैं. सर्वर 1, सर्वर 2, सर्वर 3, 4 एंड सो ऑन. राइट. व्हेन यू आर डूइंग द असेसमेंट, अब तक तो आपने इन सर्वर्स को कुछ भी नहीं किया. व्हेन यू डूइंग द असेसमेंट, इन सर्वर्स का कुछ नहीं किया आपने, सिर्फ इसका क्या किया? असेसमेंट किया है. यहाँ पर कहीं आपका असेसमेंट चल रहा है कि ठीक है, ये सर्वर्स में इतना रैम है, इतना सीपीयू है, ये है, इसका इतना यूटिलाइजेशन है, ये सब है, ये चल रहा है. नाउ यू हैव नॉट इवन स्टार्टेड द रेप्लिकेशन. वी आर नॉट इवन देयर. ठीक है, माइग्रेशन का लैंडिंग जोन सेटअप वगैरह बना लिया, बट यू हैव नॉट इवन स्टार्टेड एनीथिंग. व्हेन यू स्टार्ट द रेप्लिकेशन, दैट टाइम यू आर टेकिंग द डेटा. ये असेसमेंट हुआ. व्हेन यू गो फॉर माइग्रेशन और रेप्लिकेशन, then you are bringing the data. Let's say green dot is representing the data, so here you are representing the data. Now data is being copied here. Now the same concept is being applied here. कौन सा वाला? आपका जो replication का हमने किया था, recovery service vault. ठीक है, now the exact copy of this server is being created here. यहाँ पर आपके सर्वर के exact copy बन रहा है here. Right? And still it is not migration, it is just replicating. It is just replicating. Now, when you start migration, you can select whether it's a test migration. So if you select a test migration, इस disk से एक machine बन जाएगी यहाँ पर. But ये machine अगर इससे replicate हो रही है, so this machine is not impacted at all. ये भी चलेगा, ये भी चलेगा. Like we saw in test failover. Do you remember test failover which we did yesterday?
Yes.
Similarly, test
Yes.
migration. और exactly वही हो रहा है यहाँ पर. It's not impacting the new machine. When you do the actual migration में क्या होगा? It will shut down this machine It will create a machine from this image here. Now you have a machine. This is what your migration is. Clear?
Yes.
Right, so there is no dummy. Using that image, either
Okay.
you create a test machine or actually it's up to you. Right. So once this is done, guys, once the migration is done, don't worry, we are not done with the migration topic, right? We're just talking about the flow. Once the migration is done, post migration, as a migration engineer or implementation engineer, you will not directly hand over the server ke theek hai, ye ban gaya, now you uh, take it and start using it and your support team will support you further. No, there should be a hypercare period. Why? Because you have migrated the servers. So any issues related to migration, performance, anything, you guys will have to work on that. So that is called hypercare period. Hypercare period, you guys will monitor for cost. Let's say that if cost is more than estimated cost, कि हमने तो estimate किया था यार आप सर्वर को size down कर लोगे तो cost कम होगा. Security perspective, right? One is cost perspective, one is security perspective. What is the security perspective? That are there any unnecessary ports which we have kept open? For migration we needed this post, now migration has been done, we can close these ports. On prem पे ये ports चाहिए थे but इस पे यहाँ पर नहीं चाहिए, or I never requested this port, so you have kept some ports open on your NSG, that you will come to know later after monitoring for 2 to 3 weeks, right? So you monitor it for security. It's not only related to ports, by the way, some extra users, that this user was not requested, why have you given access to this user, or this user needed full access, you have given less user. So those things. Performance, that are VM performing as expected, if not, why? Right? Because we suggested that you increase the performance, you increase the RAM and CPU size, and they will perform well. If they are not still performing, why? Maybe we will have to go ahead and change the disk size as well, or if not size, maybe disk का type change करना पड़ेगा. हमने RAM और ये तो suggest कर दिया था, but he is still using HDD. So now let's go ahead and try with SSD. That could be one thing. Optimization, very important. Optimization is that, okay, you guys told me that my old server is being underutilized, hence I have taken the small size. Now it is being used, it is being overutilized, right? So have you taken the bigger size? Have you by mistake taken the smaller size? Is it impacting this? Or you forgot to mention the sizing? Maybe you have taken the same size and now you realize कि इसका 50% भी use नहीं हो रहा है, hardly 10% is being used, जिसका client cost pay कर रहा है necessary. So all these things, and कभी कभार server down हो गया, this RDP is not working, again troubleshooting. Now you understand why you require troubleshooting as well. Even if you are in implementation team or migration team, you will have to troubleshoot a little bit, right? Once it is done, once the 2 weeks are gone of hypercare period, mostly it is of 2 weeks. Every company will have separate, कोई 1 week का रखेगा, कोई 3 week का भी रख लेगा. Hypercare period, mostly it is of 2 weeks. So once these 2 weeks are done and everything is working fine, now you can hand over the server to their regular support team. उसके बाद जो भी होगा ना कि साइज बढ़ाना है, कम करना है, because that has nothing to do with your migration. Maybe later on they realize कि ठीक है अब इसमें ट्रैफिक कम हो चुका है, ये ऐप कोई यूज नहीं कर रहा है, ये स्टार्टअप फेल हो रहा है, no one is using that, or maybe more people are using it, we have to increase, we have to decrease, whatever it is, then you guys will not come in picture. Then whatever the regular operation team is there in support, cloud support, they will do it. But initial 2 weeks, which is called as hypercare period, you will take care of everything. Got it, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, uh, so this is the process, this is the workflow, right? Let's discuss few more things here in terms of process. We will not do the practical today. Let's in terms of process. ये सब हुई machines की बातें. Okay. Now, if I want to move the data, then what? If you remember when we were doing our storage, I told you that this is the option which I will cover when we start migration. Anyone remember what was the option? Yes, guys. That's okay if you don't remember. I was talking about the data migration. I told you migration is not only about machine, it can be anything. So let's talk about the data migration. You have some data on your on-prem, and now you want to move that to your storage accounts. You can come here, data migration, select resources, storage account, transfer scenario, move to new subscription, move to new region. But is that what we're learning? No. What are we looking at? We are looking for some local on-prem files. So local on-prem files, resource मेरा on-prem file से आ रहा है, on-premises से. Transfer scenario that I'm uploading the local on-prem file to Azure blobs, files, data lake और जहां पर भी, let's say blobs. Right? Estimated data size for transfer. कितना डेटा है आपके पास? It's 1 TB. Approximate available network bandwidth. ये सारी इंफॉर्मेशन आपको आपके करंट नेटवर्क टीम से मिल जाएगी. दे सेइंग 10 Gbps का हमारा बैंडविथ है. Transfer frequency. Is it one time transfer or are you going to do it repeatedly? So let's say 1 TB है, तो this is one time transfer I'm talking about. ठीक है. Now these are the options you get. Migration के लिए you can go easy copy, you can use PowerShell, you can use Azure Storage Explorer. I hope you guys remember Storage Explorer में login करना है, simply upload करना है, उस डेटा को upload करके छोड़ देना है. Right? Easy copy is one of the tool. Azure Storage in Storage Portal, same thing you can do from here as well. Directly portal में आ जाओ. यहाँ पर let's say you're talking about containers, एक container बना लो. ये container start uploading. यहाँ से ये click and यहाँ से आपका जो भी फाइल है उसको ये कर लो, सिंपल. बट 1 TB का डेटा यू विल नेवर सी समवन इज डूइंग ऑन द पोर्टल. दे विल ईदर यूज Azure Storage Explorer, दे विल यूज Azure easy copy, या किसी ना किसी तरह का टूल you will find them using. Right? So let's say 110 Gbps again. If I come here, 1 TB once. Right? So these are the options which we have for this. And one of the famous options, let me see if we can find it here, which is data box. I'll show it to you here, and then we can check in portal as well. I hope I have that image here. We have only 6 minutes left. Let me see if I can find it now. Otherwise, we'll do it in next session. Okay. One more thing. When it comes to, like, we have Azure Migrate tool for the same data. We have a same tool, but looks a little bit different. If I go here, if I go to Azure Migrate, let's say I've selected database. So I get to install a tool like we have for servers. Similarly, we have a tool for this one as well, for database. How that tool looks like, here it is. You simply have to download this tool, and then you have to install it on your one of the servers जहां पर आपका database है. This is the tool which we have, data migration assessment. So you can add your project name, migration, what are you doing the assessment for data, whether you're doing the migration, project का नाम क्या है, resource का source क्या है, आप SQL से लेकर आ रहे हो, where are you moving it to Azure SQL database, where are you migrating it to, right? This one, and you can create it यहाँ पर. As of now, we don't have any SQL server, so I won't be able to show it to you. But this is the tool which we use. Data migration assessment. Storage is different. Database is different, guys. Storage, I'm not able to find that image now, so we are going to take that in next session. Storage. I'm talking about the database now. Database के लिए you have a tool called data migration assessment. This is what you can use. Is this clear, guys, to everyone?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, these are some questions related to storage and data. Please go through these questions. I'll be sending them now in our WhatsApp group as well. And if you want, you can check from here as well. I'm still not able to find that image. Let's give me 2 minutes. We have 4 minutes left. We are done with these today's topic. Next session, we are going to talk about assessment. We are going to see the practical tool, migration tool. These things we are going to see. As of now, let me check if I want to.
Sohel, are you going to upload this session?
Yes, I'll upload, but again, it will be accessible privately. So I'll use the same emails which you guys have given me yesterday. I hope you got the email yesterday, right?
No, actually, I'll give you a different email ID today.
Okay. So did you get access or not for last two sessions?
No, no, I haven't. I also haven't received the emails which you had forwarded last week.
Okay. So give me another email address and let's see.
I will share the another one, sure.
Yes. I'm looking for that image. There is an image which will give you very good example, but let's see. It's okay if you don't find it today. I'll show it to you next week. Meanwhile, if you guys have any questions, please do let me know. If there's any doubts, any questions you have, here it is. So when we have to migrate our data, uh, it- it's not necessary all the time that you do these details of connectivity, etc. We have another options as well, which is data box, data disk, data box heavy, data box gateway. So let's see if we can cover it now. If it is too much, let's take it next week. Okay, let's take it next week. It will be too much for you to remember that what this disk will do, what is this will do, what will this do. Right? But this is something what they send physically. I mean, if you take this disk, they will send you these disk physically. 35 TB तक डेटा हो तो आप ले सकते हो डेटा बॉक्स डिस्क. Azure will send you this disk. इसका रिक्वेस्ट कैसे रेस करते हैं वो सब I will show it to you. Right? You will have to copy your data physically और Azure को वापस भेजना होगा. And Azure then copy that data, pasted that data in your storage account, whatever you have selected. 100 TB तक डेटा है, you can use this one. 1 petabyte का डेटा है, then you can use this one. This service is available only in East US, I guess, not beyond that. But this is available in many regions. This is almost available everywhere. So it's not always necessary कि आप कोई ना कोई उस तरह का tool use करो. There are physical options available. But it will be too much today. So what we are going to do as your data box topic, we are going to keep for next session. And then we'll start assessment and migration. Not even sure if we are going to do practical next session maybe. And because theoretical part is very important in migration. They are going to ask you questions in theory part only. Migration कोई practical करके नहीं बताने बोलेगा आपको. Okay guys, so we are done for today. We have covered migration assessment tool. We have covered the theory part of assessment, theory part of landing zone setup. Next week, we are going to do theory part of data box. We'll try to finish practical assessment and migration practical. I'll be uploading the videos. Please share your email address if there is any changes. I will assign you the access to the email address. Okay, see you guys next week.